Most prank calls are just annoying. But imagine answering your phone, and the voice on the other end already knows where you are, what you're wearing, what you're doing. And the worst part is, it knows what you're about to do next. This story started with a single phone call and ended with a house that nobody will live in anymore. In February 2007, 16-year-old Courtney Ellis lived with her parents and younger brother in a quiet suburb outside Dallas. It was the kind of neighborhood where nothing bad ever happened. One evening, Courtney was lying on her bed texting her friends when her phone suddenly buzzed with an unknown number. She answered. At first, a voice with low, scratchy whisper. "Courtney." She sat up. "How do you know my name?" The voice chuckled. "You're wearing a gray hoodie sitting on your bed. Your bedroom light is on." Courtney froze. She slowly turned toward her bedroom window. The blinds were closed. No one could see inside. She said, "Who is this?" The voice didn't answer. Instead, it whispered, "Tell your mother I'll call again tonight." Then the call ended. Courtney tried to laugh it off. Probably a prank. But later that night, her phone buzzed again. Except this time, she wasn't holding it. It was lying on her desk, and it was sending messages by itself. Her friend Sarah texted back almost immediately. "Why are you texting me this?" Courtney grabbed the phone. Her stomach dropped. The message read, "He's watching me." Courtney hadn't typed that. Then another message started typing on its own. "He knows where you live." Courtney screamed. Her parents rushed into the room. They assumed it was a glitch. Until the phone rang again. Courtney's father answered the phone. "Hello?" Scratchy voice returned. "Nice house you have, Mr. Ellis." "Who is this?" The voice continued calmly. "Your son is asleep right now, second bedroom on the left." Courtney's father rushed down the hallway. Her little brother was exactly where the caller said. The voice laughed quietly. "You should lock your doors." The call ended. From that night forward, the calls never stopped. Usually after midnight. Sometimes the caller would describe what they were doing. One night, Courtney's mom was slicing limes in the kitchen when the phone rang. She answered. The voice whispered, "I prefer lemons." The knife fell from her hand because the caller was right. She was slicing fruit inside the house. Another time, the caller said, "Your daughter just left for school." Courtney's mom ran to the window. Courtney had just stepped onto the bus. The caller knew their entire routine. Then, things got worse. One evening, the family phone rang again. Courtney's father answered. Instead of the voice, he heard himself speaking. It was a recording of a private conversation he had with his wife earlier that day. Inside their house, the recording ended. Then the whisper returned. "I hear everything." Police were called. Phones were traced. Nothing. The number always appeared as unknown. Sometimes the calls came from Courtney's own phone, even when it was turned off. Months passed. The voice gets darker, more violent. "You have a beautiful family," the caller whispered one night. "It would be a shame if I had to cut their throats." Courtney stopped sleeping. Her brother refused to stay in his room. Every creak in the house sounded like footsteps. Police set up monitoring equipment. Still nothing. No signals. No trace. It was as if the calls weren't coming from anywhere. One night around 3:12 a.m., Courtney woke up to her phone vibrating beside her pillow. Unknown number. Her heart pounded. She answered. For the first time, the voice sounded different. Excited. Almost happy. "Courtney, leave us alone," she shouted. The voice whispered back, "I'm not outside anymore." Her blood ran cold. "What?" A slow creak echoed through the house. From the hallway, then the voice said something that made her stop breathing. "I'm standing behind your door." Courtney stared at her bedroom door. It was slightly open. The hallway light flickered. "Open it," the voice whispered. Her hand shook. She slowly walked toward the door and pulled it open. The hallway was empty. No footsteps. No movement. Just silence. Courtney slammed the door and locked it. She grabbed her phone. She whispered, "Nice try." The voice chuckled softly. "I told you. I'm not outside anymore." Courtney slowly turned around. Her phone screen lit up. A new message appeared, sent from her own phone. Attached was a photo. It had been taken seconds ago, from inside her room. Behind her, the Ellis family called the police again that night. But when officers arrived, Courtney's bedroom was empty. Her phone was lying on the floor, still connected to the call. The dispatcher heard one final sound through the line, a faint scratching noise. Then the whisper, "Next family." The call disconnected. Courtney was never found. And sometimes, late at night, people in that neighborhood still receive calls from an unknown number. If they answer, the voice only says one thing: "I see you." If you receive this type of call from an unknown number, would you pick it up or not? Most people ignore missed calls. But imagine waking up in the middle of the night and seeing a voicemail on your phone from a number you don't recognize. You play it, and the voice in the recording is your own, screaming, begging someone to let you out. What you're about to hear happened in 2011, and even now, no one can explain it. 23-year-old Evan Brooks lived alone in a small apartment in Phoenix, Arizona. Evan worked the night shift at a convenience store. Most nights he didn't get home until around 2 in the morning. The routine was always the same. He would unlock the door, drop his keys on the table, kick off his shoes, and check his phone. Just another quiet night, until one message appeared that shouldn't have been there. A voicemail from an unknown number. The timestamp read 1:47 a.m. Evan frowned. At that exact time, he had been standing behind the counter at work. There was no way he could have made that call. Still curious, he pressed play. There was only breathing, like someone running. Then a voice spoke, panicked, desperate. "Please, if anyone hears this, help me." Evan sat up, because the voice sounded exactly like him. Same tone, same accent, even the same nervous pause between words. The recording continued. "They locked the door. I can't get out, please." Then a loud bang echoed through the voicemail, and the message ended. Evan stared at his phone. He laughed nervously. "Okay. That's weird. Maybe someone with a similar voice. Maybe a prank. Still, the recording left a strange feeling in his chest. A feeling he couldn't explain. The next night, it happened again. Another voicemail. Same unknown number. This time the timestamp read 3:12 a.m. But Evan had been asleep. He pressed play. Immediately, the same voice began whispering. His voice. "Someone's here. I can hear them outside the door." In the background, slow footsteps echoed, dragging across a floor. Then the voice whispered something else. "Oh God, they're inside." The voicemail ended. Evan felt the temperature in the room drop, because he knew one thing for certain. That voice was his. The next morning, Evan went to the police station. He played the recordings for an officer. The officer listened carefully, then leaned back in his chair. He said, "Probably a prank." Someone hacked your voicemail. Evan shook his head. That's my voice. The officer shrugged. You'd be surprised how many people sound alike. No investigation. No phone trace. Just another strange complaint. But the messages didn't stop. Over the next week, Evan received 6 more voicemails. Each one more disturbing than the last. In one message, his voice whispered, "I think they're watching me." In another, he sounded terrified. I shouldn't have answered the phone. Then came the worst voicemail, almost 2 minutes long. The recording started with frantic breathing. Then Evan's voice said something that made his stomach twist. They know I listened to the messages. There was a long pause. Then the whisper came. They're coming for me next. That night, Evan couldn't sleep. Every small noise made him jump. The air conditioner clicked. The floor creaked. At 3:07 a.m., his phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. But this time, he hadn't received a call. Just the voicemail. Slowly, he pressed play. The recording started. And immediately, Evan felt his heart begin to pound. Because in the background, he could hear his own apartment. The ticking wall clock. The exact creaking sound the hallway floor made. Then his voice whispered in the recording. They're already inside. Evan slowly looked around his dark apartment. Nothing breathed. Nothing spoke. Then, suddenly, the hallway floor creaked. Evan grabbed a kitchen knife. His hands shook as he walked toward the hallway. The apartment was silent. Then his phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. Still no incoming call. He pressed play. This time his voice sounded urgent, desperate. Evan, don't open the bedroom door. His heart pounded harder because he was standing right in front of the bedroom door. The voicemail continued. If you open that door, they'll see you. Evan slowly stepped back. Then the voice whispered one final sentence. They're standing right behind you. Neighbors later reported hearing screams from Evan's apartment around 4 in the morning. When police arrived, the front door was locked. Windows closed. Inside, the apartment was empty. No signs of struggle. No, Evan. Just his phone lying on the kitchen floor, still playing a voicemail. The last sound officers heard from the speaker was Evan's voice screaming, followed by another voice, low, scratchy, whispering, "Leave the next message." Evan Brooks was never seen again, but his phone number still exists. And every few months, someone receives a voicemail from it. A terrified voice, begging for help. And if you listen closely, you can hear something else in the background. Footsteps, getting closer.